Hello there. Um, Today I wanted to talk about the Minnesota fraud. I've been hooked with it for the last week, uh, and I've been going compulsively to YouTube or X every night looking for revenge. I wanted to see any if there were, I was looking basically for headlines that would inform that there are deportations happening, that there are arrests happening, that there is some kind of punishment to this whole scandal. I've been absolutely hooked with that, and as I said, compulsively going scrolling looking for that headline that gives me that idea of punishment. And the reason why I think, personally, when I think about it, the reason why I am so hooked with this is because the whole scandal and level of corruption hits very close to home. I'm from Argentina, and I've lived or followed very, very close firsthand this level of corruption, and it produces it's kind of like you have like this feeling that is very difficult to describe, I guess. It's kind of like it's a mix between disbelief and disgust. It's almost like some kind of assault, as someone is assaulting you, assaulting you. I don't know how you say that exactly, but almost like a rape, right? That kind of like visceral reaction. And it hits very, very, very close to home because of that. And I think that it's because of that too that me and hundreds of others are just going online and trying to get that headline, that kind of like a little bit of hope in the heart that something is being done about this. And something big, like a big punishment, not like, okay, well, we just cut the funds. Okay, yeah, a no-brainer, right? Like, we want to see like a list of people, and like we want to really, really get those the the responsible people for this fraud in jail or deported. um and this had me thinking a lot. And a couple of days ago, I got a comment in another one of my videos about. It was a comment that said something along the lines of like, she moved to this country because we're a trusting society, or something along those lines. But the idea was something, it was about a trusting society, right? Or a trusting nation, or a trusting country. I don't know exactly how that was addressed. And so in between this Minnesota fraud, and then this comment, I don't know, it's just, there was something in there that got me thinking about, why is it that most immigrants prefer Western nations, or nations inside the Western hemisphere, to migrate over other nations that are also financially stable and like economically sound, and yet they still rather go to these other nations? What is it, what is it with these nations that are so attractive to these people? I mean, these people, I'm an immigrant myself. But like any type of immigrant, what is it that it makes it so attractive? And I think is that very core label. Is a trusting society? Is a society that guarantees your liberties and will safeguard your rights. So it guarantees rights and liberties. That's the reason why these type of nations are so attractive. That's the appeal. Obviously, the money, the financial situation too. Um, but I don't see these, immigrants behaving that way in China or, you know, um, in any Arab nations. I don't know. Maybe they do. I don't know. Um, but I do think that this whole situation with Minnesota, with this fraud, is exposing something that goes beyond the scandalous amount of money that they have been sucking out of the system, and that is the crack in the in the principle of trust. So it exposes not only the corruption, but also it exposes, or it has opened, a crack in the very fabric of society, and that is trust. A society functions well because you trust your neighbor. And obviously this is an ideal. Nuances happen, everyone has a different experience. But as someone that is coming from a developing country, like in my case, it is exhausting to live in a place where there is no trust. The everyday living is exhausting. You don't know if the person that is waiting your table is going to screw you over with a, you have to check the bill 3 times because maybe they are overcharging you, or they are including tips that you didn't know that they were included. You hire someone and you don't know if that person will enter your house and then pass your information to someone else to come and rob you. You open your garage and you have to be like looking side to side to see if there's no one hiding behind you to like come and assault you. You go into a public office because you need to do something, and you don't know if the person is not willing to do their work because they're expecting, some kind of money from you. So everything is like that. Is exhausting. Is exhausting to live in a place where there is no trust. Is borderline paranoia. It triggers a borderline paranoia. You have to be alert 24/7, and not only that, but then also the consequences of living that way is that makes life way much more difficult, because now you have to not only navigate life itself that is already uncertain because you never know what's going to happen, but also navigate society and what is expected from certain societal dynamics as well. In other words, if you have a society where there's no trust, where trust is broken, so you don't know what to expect from your neighbor. So that dynamic, that relationship, with the vendor, with, your boss, with someone at, a public office, with that relationship is, you never know what to expect from it. So it's like everything becomes uncertain. So it's not life itself like, oh, okay, right? That's the very nature of living, uncertainty, sure. But then at least I know, that if I go and I drink a coffee, it's going to be a bill for the coffee, and maybe, I just pay for that coffee. Now, if you go to Mexico or other places, you will have to check the bill, and then also, and then maybe have a conversation with a waiter, and then, and everything becomes this extra layer of, as I said, of alertness, that kind of like a little bit of paranoia, of, psychosis. So the whole thing with the Minnesota fraud, to me, was, are we just eroding what makes, this type of society livable, attractive, thriving, affluent? Is that what we're doing here? I don't know. I mean, I'm really, really hoping that the punishment is significant, so we can send a message out there and say, like, hey, no, this is not permitted here. This is you're wrong. This is not the way that we do it here. Because otherwise this is the beginning of the end. I understand that there's usually a mistrust for the people that govern us, so that's normal. Everyone has it. Politicians, whatever. But that doesn't usually translate or trickle into the relationships, your everyday relationships with other members of society, whether it is, as I said, like literally your neighbor or a vendor or someone that you are, dealing with, right, on an everyday basis. When that is broken, when that fabric is broken, it gets exhausting, believe me. So, just to close up, I am really wishing that the punishment is significant enough to send a very clear message that this level of corruption will not be tolerated. And I really hope that, we can uncover all the truth and that people are held accountable. I really hope that. Because we don't want to ruin the very fabric of what makes this society a great society. At least I don't want to do it, and I'm sure, like me, there's a lot of other people, not natives and not natives, that agree with me. Anyways, I hope that this was articulated enough. The whole purpose of these videos is trying to express myself in a way that is that you can follow along, and that I basically just want to learn how to really articulate myself, because I know I can mumble and like go in circles. So thank you so much. You have a great evening. Hola.